Hello, welcome to Cooking with Kieran. Today we're making spiced chicken noodles. Shouldn't take too long, about 20 minutes. Ingredients are on the screen, but I'll put them in the comments down below. First, we want to take out our chicken from the fridge and your ginger. About an inch or 3 centimeters of ginger we're going to use. First, you're going to have to peel it. For root ginger, take the skin off. I'm just going to use the knife, but use a vegetable peeler. And when we're finished that, we'll grate it. Then we'll cook that, add some chicken to it, stir fry it for a while, throw in some vegetables, so spring onion and spinach, and then throw in some noodles and chili and soy sauce to add a bit of taste. So take your ginger, grate it. You can use whichever you want, either a sort of thicker grater or thinner grater. Thinner grater will just make it a bit gingerier, if that's a word. So get your ginger, set it to the side. I'm just going to leave it in the chopping board to save putting it in a different dish and dirtying something else. I'm going to be throwing raw chicken in on top of it, so I don't mind it. It's on the same board. That's the raw chicken. Then get some of your vegetables out. So my spinach, I'll use that later. You can use pak choy, but spinach is easier to get fresh where I am and works out a bit cheaper. And also the family eat it better. The children prefer pak choy to spinach. And also take some spring onions, scallions. I'm going to use 2 or 3. Here I'm using 3. I like to peel my scallions, the sort of floppy leaves I like to take off, and cut the ends off. Give them a quick wash and then come back and gonna cut them into sort of maybe 3 centimeter strips, slightly diagonally, which I'll show you in a second. There we go. So again, you don't need to cut all the ends off. I like my spring onions to be more trimmed, but you can use the other parts as well. And I'm just going to set these to the side for later. I'll put them in afterwards. And next we're going to want to get our chili. You can put in as much chili as you like. Normally 1 or 2 bits of chili. I use maybe half a chili. Small children, so they don't like it quite as hot, so I don't use too much. Just experiment as you make it and decide as you make it a few times how much spice you'd rather have. So first, taking out the inside seeds. You can run the knife around the inside, just peel it out, or you can cut it in half and scrape them out. Just remember, after you've been using the chili, don't be touching your eyes. It's really painful. It's the type of thing you'll only do once, but you're better not doing it at all. So chop your chili into small slices, and we'll set that aside as well for using afterwards. So now that that's done, we just need to get the chicken ready. Before I do that, I'm going to get my noodles on. I use straight wok udon noodles for this. You can just throw them straight into your wok, but I find that they're just not great anymore. They seem the qualities get worse and they take a while to cook. So instead, and they'll stick together and stuff, I just like to put them into a bowl, add some boiling water from your kettle, and let them soften up for a while and sort of cook that way, and they'll separate. Then later on I'll drain the water out and just leave them sitting until it's time to put them in the wok. So take your chicken. I'm using 250 grams of chicken breast, about 100 grams per person, with a little bit extra for a small child. But you can adjust that depending on how hungry you are, how much noodles you're using, and sort of how much you tend to eat. Gonna cut your chicken into small strips about 1 centimetre wide, and trim any sort of wee bits of fat or sort of tendons that are still in it, depending on how well your chicken has been trimmed before you got it. So I'm just gonna slice this up here into small strips, and then we'll get it ready to cook. The idea here is you want it quite small so it will cook quickly in the wok and cook through. So kettle's boiled. I'm just going to pour some boiling water on top of my noodles, soften them up. The thicker bits of chicken that are sort of wider, I'm cutting down a bit small as well, because I want them to be bite-sized so I can pick them up with my chopsticks and just eat them without needing to use a knife and fork. So chicken's ready. Just going to wash my hands before I pick up my other stuff. Right, so now you want to grab a food bag, just a sort of small cheap sandwich bag will do. You don't need like a Ziploc bag or anything, because you're only using it to coat the chicken with some flour. So small food bag. Then going to want to get some corn flour. And I'm just taking my tablespoon, putting in a tablespoon of corn flour. I'll rinse that tablespoon quickly, so I'm going to use that later for soy sauce. Then you want to season your flour as well with a little bit of salt. So I'm just using a pinch of salt, so you don't need too much. Then some pepper as well. White pepper, you can use black pepper, whatever you have handy. Then you want to put your chicken into the bag. Washing my hands quickly and then get the raw chicken off it. And now I'm going to just shake the chicken in the bag. Make sure you seal the bag. Toss it around, coat it with the corn flour and salt and pepper. That's nicely coated. Now I'm going to take my wok, put it on the heat. Nice high heat initially, on full till it's almost smoking. Then at that stage I'm going to add some vegetable oil, maybe sort of a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. I'm just stirring my noodles, make sure they break up nicely. Go nice and soft so they're properly cooked and not stuck together later. So they're nice and soft now, I've broken up. I'm just going to strain them in the sink. If you want to here, you can run some cold water over them to stop them cooking too much. And then pop them back into your bowl and just leave them sitting to the side for when you're ready to cook. So the wok's been on heating at this stage. It's getting nice and warm. It'll start. You might see it almost like it's starting to smoke or burn. That's fine. You want it that warm, that hot initially. So when it's warming up, just tidy your bench. Yeah, so I'll do some tidying up as I wait. So grab your vegetable oil. I like to use corn oil. You can use whatever. I just find corn oils are slightly nicer than regular vegetable oil. So add 2 tablespoons to a hot wok. I keep my wok up full. If you feel it's a little bit warm, turn it down to maybe 3/4 of the sort of maximum heat. So let the oil heat a little bit. It should heat quite quickly because the wok should be very hot at this stage, and you put it in. First, we're going to put in our grated ginger for sort of 30 seconds or so, just warm it up. You might see it start to sort of stick and brown. Don't worry about that too much. I just keep stirring it. Throw it in and stir around the wok for about 30 seconds to warm up. Then at that stage we'll throw in our chicken. So as the oil's heating, I'm just getting my bowls ready for putting it out. Ginger into the pan. It'll sizzle away nicely. Stir it around. Then add your chicken from the bag. You want to seal the chicken here, so just make sure that you get all sides of it browned or sealed. So there's no raw parts before you start adding your vegetables. Just make sure it's cooked through. Once we add the vegetables and noodles, we'll not be cooking it for too long, so you just want to make sure your chicken is mostly cooked before you add the rest of your ingredients. Again here, what I'm doing is just making sure the chicken's getting sealed, so I'm lifting it, turning some bits over which haven't been on the heat. Now flipping them. I want some light soy sauce later. Take that out. Right, so our chicken is mostly cooked now. I'm just going to wash the chopping board while that simmers away and start to tidy up the kitchen a little bit when I'm waiting. So chicken is pretty much cooked at this stage. So I'm going to add in my spring onions that we chopped earlier. Add in your spinach. I use about 100 grams of spinach for 2 people. You can use pak choy as well, it's quite nice, just depends on what you prefer. And I'll use the spinach again for something else in the next day or two. Now, here, if the wok's quite warm, add a tablespoon of water to the wok, it just cools it down nicely and stops it burning too much at the bottom as you start to wilt away your vegetables. So just give that a quick stir, mix it up with the chicken. I'll cook that for a little bit, maybe a minute or two, not too long. As you're doing that, you can top your dish with some toasted sesame seeds. So dry pan, get it quite warm, and then just add your sesame seeds in on top. A tablespoon or so of them, you don't need too much. It's just for topping the noodles when it's cooked. You want to be careful with the sesame seeds, they can burn quite suddenly, so just keep an eye on them, shake them every now and again as they start to brown, turn them off, and that'll do. So I'm just checking the thickest bits of chicken that are cooked through here, so that just pull a bit of chicken apart and make sure that it's not pink in the middle. Yeah, the thicker bits seem fine. Okay. So, add your noodles at this stage. They'll be a little bit cold, so you can sit for a while, so you just want to warm them through. Again, you can get straight to wok noodles like these if you shoot in theory, just throw straight into the wok, but I find that they take too long to warm up and heat through, and then you end up burning your chicken, or overdoing your chicken, and overdoing your vegetables. Another sort of why I put it in the water first. So, start that around to warm up. Keep it moving so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the wok and heats evenly. And that's pretty much cooked. I'm just checking my sesame seeds, they're done, so I'm going to lift them off the heat, set them to the side. Noodles are warmed through, soft, so now I'm going to add a tablespoon of soy sauce, move that around the wok, and then I'm also going to throw in the chili we chopped earlier. The longer you leave chili in, the more chili you put in, the hotter the dish is going to be. I like to just throw it in at the end here when I've added my soy sauce. Adds a little bit of heat, but not too much. Give it a good stir around. And everything's cooked at this stage, you're just mixing the flavours up. And now that's us done, about 20 minutes. Turn your hob off, always important. And then serve. Just checking the seasoning at this stage, make sure it's nice. If it's not, you can add a little bit more soy sauce or the salt. So what I'm going to do now is just finish serving it. Top it with some sesame seeds. If you want to, you can add sesame oil, toasted sesame oil. maybe a tablespoon, throw it into the wok, give it a good mix. I don't like it that much, so I tend not to, but you can just add it straight into the bowl if somebody does like it. Add it maybe a teaspoon per person or something like that, or half tablespoon. And there we go.